Likely ties the game. Oh, do they have picked off? Oh, they got him. Oh, what a mistake by Vlad Guerrero. He's signaling to the dugout. He thinks he got in. Oh, did they bail out Sonny Gray?
He looks at Correa, and he's going to go to the hat for the acknowledgement. Now that play is hot right now. 1, 2, go. We may need to see another angle.
Is it enough to overturn?
If in doubt, Michael, you have to review it. You have 2 tries, and it's too big of a play.
I think he's out.
Oh, boy.
I think he's out.
Rule number 1, don't get picked off at second when you have 2 outs and your team is down. Anyways, welcome to 60 feet 6 inches, everybody. Welcome back to the show. The 2023 season is completed. We got some recurring guests back up in here. Wolverine, say what's up.
Hey, yo, what is happening,
Wolverine,
folks?
behind doing the data, and we got a real special guest today, everybody, all the way from AAA Syracuse in the Mets affiliated organization, Tony DABRELL.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Tony,
I'm glad to be
welcome
here.
to the show, man. Thanks
Yeah.
for coming in.
Yeah, appreciate you having me, man.
So, what brings you to Georgia?
So I grew up here. Went to Chattahoochee High School for high school. Played baseball, basketball, football, the whole thing. Won a state championship in football, and was fortunate enough to go to Kennesaw State University. And I played baseball there for 3 years, and then the New York Mets decided to draft me in the 4th round of the 2017 MLB draft. So for the past 6 years, I've just been grinding my way through the minor leagues and trying to make it, turn the major leagues into a reality. So
And that's got to be
Yeah.
tough, Tone. It's not easy.
Oh, it's a grind. It is a grind every day.
You and I were talking probably about an hour before this,
Yeah.
and I mean, the body can only do so much, but anybody that's outside the game that may play other sports or maybe even interested in other sports, they don't realize how hard the game is.
Yeah, it's every day. It's a new battle, new challenge, and really just figuring out how to deal with your failures is how you become a great baseball player. So every day you get that new opportunity.
Absolutely. So you being in the Mets organization, there's been a little bit of a shakeup. This is kind of breaking news.
Yeah, breaking news. I did just get the notification that Billy Epler is out.
He gone.
Out as the GM.
So now, I mean, a couple of days ago, I don't know if you saw this, Wolverine. David Stearns from the Brewers.
Uh-huh.
He got recruited by Stephen Cohen. I think that Cohen has obviously he's committed. I mean, the guy
100%.
The guy literally went out and bought everybody.
A lot of bread.
And then after that, he traded everybody away. Yeah. But I think he's going in a new direction to where he wants his money to be in a place to where he can move it better. Obviously, them literally almost being last in the division and in the top 5 in the lowest amount of games that they've won. Yeah. They got to shake something up, right?
Yeah, it's just with the talent they have, they should not be in the bottom of anything.
No, absolutely.
I think you can see that too across the league as far as the standard for general managers, I think, is starting to maybe get a little diversified. Mm-hmm. We see what Kim Ng's doing in Miami. Mm-hmm. And then the Tigers just brought in a guy who was the GM for the Blackhawks in the NHL.
That's right, in the NHL. Yeah. That's right.
So I think, now I think some of these owners and some of these presidents of baseball operations are starting to kind of expand their horizons a bit, looking at different avenues maybe to bring in a GM to maybe because especially now we see what the Mets did, and they just absolutely collapsed. No matter how much money Steve Cohen went and spent out, they were just awful. Yeah. It did not help at all.
I mean, at least you have nowhere but up to go.
For sure.
For sure. Lowest of the low. But, I mean, you know it, Tony. I mean, first thing, it's you could literally break the bank with some of the best talent. But as far as the clubhouse itself, whether you being a pitcher, whether you like to flock with pitchers in the clubhouse, or like you be with your battery mate with your catcher all the time, or if you hang out with infielders or outfielders, there's got to be some kind of there has to be a goal that everybody's looking to, which is the championship, right?
Without a doubt, yeah.
So if there's a little bit of an offset of personalities maybe in the clubhouse, does that have a big effect on the team winning or losing?
Yeah, I think it's got a huge effect. Because I know, like, the Yankees, it felt like they were just buying championships, but all those dudes hung out outside of the baseball field. They would be at each other's houses, hanging out with each other's families, and they were like a tight group.
Yes.
Even though they were getting paid all that money, they were like one group, and I feel like that's why they were winning the championships.
I
agree. feel like a lot of teams now, like what Steve Cohen did, he saw that and he was like, "Oh, I can just spin the bread and buy a championship." But that's not how it works. When you're on the field and you look back and you know that guy's got your back and you know his family and all that, like, it just makes you want to play harder, and knowing that there's a common goal, it's good when you got that camaraderie.
Absolutely. Yeah. And there may be, sometimes with, and this may not be the case in New York, I may be completely 100% wrong. Sometimes whenever you have a lot of, I don't want to say egos, because sometimes whenever people say egos, they take it as a negative thing. You know what I mean? But sometimes if people that have egos that may be in the clubhouse or something like that, to where, like, I heard something like this. Even though that Scherzer and Verlander were teammates before in Detroit.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
They did not, quote-unquote, get along well. And, of course, Verlander was, he was almost silent on it. Only said just a couple words. Said, well, we're just both professionals doing what we do, and that was it.
Yeah.
But then, okay, that's fine. I can take that.
Yeah.
Okay, that works for me. But then whenever you look at like a 90s rotation like the Braves, like exactly how you said,
Smoltz and all them,
Smoltz, Maddox, Avery, Glavine, they all hung out, all played golf together in spring training, threw a couple lines out there, casted fish, and then they kind of – I feel like that if you're on the ball club, on the ball field with a player – the trust is there, because you see this guy every day.
Yeah.
There's got to be some kind of trust in your teammate. And wouldn't you, I guess by default, wouldn't you want to get to know the person? I mean, you spend 8 or 9 months out of the season with them. Wouldn't you want to get to know them? Because you're going to be here a while.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what I mean?
100%. Yeah, and if you remember back in 2015 when the Mets made it to the World Series, all the starting pitchers, they came up through the minor leagues together.
Yep.
And I feel like it really showed that, like, hey, we got to do this. Like, we came up together. We've been grinding for this for a long time. Like, now we're right here. Let's try to put it all together. So
I feel like Scherzer's just too intense. He can't have any friends.
That's what I'm saying.
He's crazy.
Golly,
he's a crazy cat, man.
Now, this guy's got 3,000 strikeouts. Much respect to this guy.
Yeah.
No, of course.
But, I mean, I've heard interviews with people where this guy is not nice. He's not nice. Like, don't look at me.
No, I get that. You couldn't look at him in it with those weird 2-colored eyes that he has, man.
I'm already freaked out, right?
Yeah, no, he was down in rehab with me. When I was rehabbing Tommy John. Yeah, and he's definitely intense.
Yeah,
he's not like standoffish though, to where like you can't talk to him.
Okay, well that's good.
But he's definitely locked into what he's doing.
Like, I'm working, man.
Yeah, he's working, and he's so intent on like being the best pitcher he can be, is that he's not going to let anything get in the way of that.
Well, I guess his method does work for him.
Yeah,
I mean, it works. I mean, But I mean, you have if Epler's going to be out in Queens, then I mean, David Stearns he's got the whole world right in the palm of his hand right now.
Yeah.
Now, what I want to know is, does he go out and does he get Craig Counsell from Milwaukee? A question that we will answer later.
For sure.
We will go over all that with you in the show. But before we get going, everybody, my favorite part of the show, on this day in baseball history. On this day in baseball history, in 2012, St. Louis Cardinals win the first ever NL wildcard, defeating the Atlanta Braves 6-3 at Turner Field.
Took a big sigh like you didn't want to say that.
I didn't. I did not. Trying to keep my composure. One of Major League Baseball's most controversial plays takes place in the 8th inning when shortstop Andrelton Simmons lifts a ball to shallow left field that drops in between left fielder Matt Holliday and shortstop Pete Kozma. Umpire Sam Holbrook called the infield fly rule. Simmons is out. A 19-minute delay ensues as fans cover the field with debris. Braves manager Freddie Gonzalez files a protest, which is immediately dismissed by MLB's Vice President Joe Torre. The game is over. Now, the trash that I saw on that field that night, and I'm not talking about the trash that the fans threw on the field, but how can you, as a fan, as a player, I'm sure Freddie Gonzalez probably got fined a lot because he got up in those umpires' faces, which I would too. But I mean, how can you make that call? How can you make that call?
It's mind blowing. It still blows my mind to this day.
The ball is 25 feet in the outfield, almost in the corner to where the ball boy sits. Come on.
And the shortstop wasn't even camped under it. He's still running after the ball.
Matt Holliday's thinking that Pete Cosmo's going to call him off, and then whenever they don't, because one, in a place like this, you know how this is, Tony, the place is very loud.
Yeah.
You can't hear. You have to scream like loud. I got it, or ball, my guy, I got it, you know, something. So as Holliday's coming in, I think he suspects that for a second he may have it, and then as he sees it, the ball is still bleeding up and it's dropping down. So he sees Cosmo coming to get maybe like a crazy over-the-shoulder catch. I don't know.
Yeah.
Obviously, they make eye contact, and then they both back up.
Yeah.
So they were both trying to think what they were thinking. Are you going to catch this? I'm not going to catch this. Are you going to catch it? You can all see it just by them looking at each other.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the ball drops. Freddie Gonzalez just, waddles out there and everything. Before you know it, he's gone.
Yeah.
And then now I've gone back and looked at this recently, like 2 days ago. There is a good – I'm telling you, man, the camera can't even catch any part of the dirt on the infield where the ball drops. And we're talking like a wide angle to where you see the cameras. Yeah. There's no infield. Like, you don't even see any dirt.
The ball was in the outfield.
The ball is out in the outfield.
It was in outfield. It was, yeah.
And, of course,
crazy.
Of course, the Braves lose that game, which, I mean, it might have been tough. They had what? I think Ugly was on third. Somebody was on second. It might have been Martin Prado or something like that. But it was in like the 18th. It's should have, could have.
In a pivotal moment, too, in the game. Like,
never know what could have happened at that time. Atlanta was a different breed. Dan Ugla had his 37-game hitting streak, crazy stuff like that. But, a nerve was just hit with that one. So on this day in baseball history, that one kind of brought some bad memories back. But it's been a while, Wolverine. It's been since the All-Star break, Tony, since we've pretty much came back to the season. Things happen. But it does give us a good time where we can talk about this and kind of bring everything up to a head. So everybody fasten your seatbelts. This is what you have missed. So Wander Franco has disappeared from Major League Baseball. Nobody can find him.
Yeah.
There's been a couple missing person posters that have been put around in Tampa.
Yeah.
Hopefully he is seen sometime, but it doesn't look like it.
Yeah. Not good. Not a good situation to be in.
Whatever the situation is, we don't have to get into it on the show because it doesn't matter, but he's not playing, and I think he's a player that would have had a better impact on the team, especially in the postseason.
100%.
But he gone. But
he probably ain't coming back.
No, I would.
I'm hearing, he's done.
I think we know why he's gone, man. I mean, come on now.
Yeah,
international investigation into your doings based on your social media posts.
Always check the ID. I mean, everybody.
Unfortunate situation for this man.
It sounds like he knew. He did check the ID and he was cool with it.
So. Yeah. That's even worse. But had a couple great MLB players, former players pass away. Brooks Robinson, 18-time All-Star, 16-time Gold Glove. I mean, probably the best third baseman that this game has ever seen. Nolan Arenado is putting up a fight for us to argue that. But in the modern era, for sure, Jim Palmer said whenever he was with the Orioles, he's never seen anybody throw a ball across the infield like that so accurately and so quickly. And Brooks actually came up as a second baseman.
Oh, wow.
And then they just moved him to third. Yeah, so, we'll miss you, Brooksy. Good, great player, Hall of Famer. And then also Tim Wakefield, old knuckleballer. Everybody knows Tim. Yep. Everybody, I think, when we were kids playing wiffle ball, everybody said, look at my Tim Wakefield.
100%.
You know what I mean?
He made it famous for our generation.
He did. And very pivotal guy to where Jason Varitek talks about the 2004 series where they were down 3-0 with the Yankees and came back and won. And then Tim was on the roster for one of those years, and he gave up his roster spot so a hitter or a position player could play.
Yeah,
and I thought that was really selfless because it takes a really good and an understandable ball player, like a real ball player mindset, to understand. I could do some damage myself, but we need this.
Yeah, and
in the end, I'm going to get a ring, and he did. He did. Yeah. So, we always always recognize these guys that put so much heart and soul into the game, good contributors. So, we lift up Robinson and Wakefield family in this time. But
we were talking about this earlier about,
thank you so much.
When mentioning Tim Wakefield, it's like, does anybody even throw knuckleballs anymore?
Yes. There is a guy, and he's actually a pitcher on Boston Red Sox.
Okay.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. I don't know his name.
Yeah.
But I've seen him.
I know Kirby from Seattle.
There we
He threw
go.
one. He
That's
threw one
right.
the other day.
Because it's just, I mean, obviously it's an incredibly tough pitch to control.
Yeah.
And it's more or less it's the ability or the function of it is to keep the hitter off balance. When you're out here throwing 80, 90, 95, and then you just kind of chuck this little 65-mile-an-hour pitch out, with normal hand motion, with normal arm motion, it really throws the hitters off. But, we had a question about that earlier. It was just like, does anybody still throw knuckles?
Yeah, my buddy Mickey Janis, he got called up by the Orioles last year, and he's purely knuckleball.
Oh,
yeah, he's like
nasty.
85-90% knuckleball guy.
Wow.
So, yeah,
he's
he
like
still
an
does
R.A.
it.
Dickey.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I remember already.
Yeah.
And then because there's gyro balls and
Ephus
pitches, and what's the other one, the Asian one, the shishito or what is it called?
Yeah, I know.
You know what I'm talking about.
Sounds
Yeah.
like something I ate at the Korean.
That was like
barbecue
shishito
last night.
pepper. It's like shishuto or something. It's one of these,
Shiitake mushrooms.
something like that. Yeah.
But and also there's a as the season's wrapped up, there's two guys that could potentially be Hall of Famers. Well, excuse me. One potentially could be. One is definitely Miguel Cabrera. He's hanging it up, hanging the cleats up. He hit. He broke 3,000 this year. Broke 500 home runs. He's got over 500 doubles.
Yeah.
This guy is
Triple Crown.
goodness. Yes, and a Triple Crown winner. That's something we will probably never see.
Yeah.
He's the last one to do it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, and as a Tigers fan, I think back on his career, obviously he won his World Series with the Marlins. But, just an incredible career for Miguel Cabrera. One of the, most talented hitters that we've seen in the game. Just incredible eye. Injuries, obviously, towards the end of his career kind of shortened his playing life. But, as a Tigers fan, I'm blessed that he was on the team.
Oh, man.
Just be able to watch it. And then just the reception that he had. Going out his last game in that series against Cleveland, really, really emotional. If you guys, if anybody's seen the video, go to, you can check it on YouTube. An incredible emotional moment.
Yeah, and then also Adam Wainwright. Molina, hung it up last year.
Yeah,
and then Wainwright is going out on a high note this year. Took him a while to get that 200th win, but he got it. And I'm sure, Tony, you as a pitcher, after you can't keep throwing unless you're like Nolan Ryan and you're just a freak.
Yeah.
You can't keep throwing the same exact way over time just because as the body gets older, you have to, I guess you would have to figure out how to pitch not as well, I'll just say it this way, not being a thrower, being a pitcher.
Yeah. 100%.
Because you're
it's not about velocity. It's more about control, and it's about placement at a certain point. You can't chuck it like you used to. So, and I think that's what worked in Greg Maddox's favor, especially later in his career, because he has always been a control pitcher.
Yeah,
he never was the guy who was throwing 98, 99, but he would just pick you apart,
right?
Because he knew where to throw it, where he knew you weren't going to hit it.
Right.
So I think that worked to his benefit. And, a lot of guys, I think, once you kind of get into the twilight of your career, if you're successful enough, you kind of transition into that.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, like Greinke. Greinke does that now.
Oh, my gosh.
He used to throw 100. Now he's flipping balls in there at 56.
And man, I remember whenever he came up in 05. Oh, my goodness. Yeah. Like he was – and I think he was 19 at the time.
Yeah.
Real
young.
And I've always – a lot of people think he's so weird, and he may be, but it's almost like some people will look at it like this, Tony. Like, I like Batman, but some people say, I like the way he's Bruce Wayne or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Zach Greinke as a person,
100%.
and then Zach Greinke as a pitcher.
Yeah.
What was it, 2020, when he was having trouble with the pitch count, he just put down one, I'm going to throw a fastball.
Yeah.
Try to hit it. And then the guy grounded out, or I think he sawed him off or something like that.
He was crazy.
Yeah. And that's another guy who's going to be hanging it up, and maybe even Joey Votto. Maybe even Joey Votto's last time. But a lot of things that happened in 2023 that's going to be memorable. And speaking of memorable, we're going to talk about the Atlanta Braves in a little bit. But the season's over, fellas. We've already had, couple of teams win their division that you wouldn't think. Like, obviously the AL East, that's not not super surprising. I mean, the Rays may have come her, but
the AL East has totally been flipped upside down.
Yeah.
Totally been flipped upside down. I don't think anybody expected the standings to end like this.
Definitely not. Definitely not the New York Yankees organization in the Bronx, that's for sure. But Central really hasn't – I'm going to go out and say it. Central really hasn't been that strong of a division. The Twins carried out, get that. And then the Astros was in between them and the Rangers. The Astros ended up winning it, but that's okay. I mean, no big deal. And then, of course, in the National League, the Dodgers, obviously. And then we got the Brewers in the Central. It seems like the NL and the AL Central are just not as strong. I don't know. And then, of course, in the East, the Braves had goodness. I mean, they went 104-58, best record in baseball. They got home field advantage through the postseason and even the World Series. You know, and this season, especially the Atlanta Braves. I mean, this is arguably the best offensive season by any team.
Yep, without question. Without
I mean,
question.
I mean, they've got a 501 slugging percentage as a team. That is ridiculous.
Crazy.
I think their WAR. I think I want to say the Murderers Row 27 Yankees. Their WAR is like 137. I think the Braves are like 139. Insane. Jesus. I mean, you got a lineup that has no holes. I mean, 307 home runs as a team. That tied the Twins in 19, and whenever they had juiced balls.
Yeah.
And I would protest that ball that Riley hit in Philadelphia needs to be counted as a home run instead of a triple. If they would have counted that, it would have been 308.
Yeah.
So shame on you, box score.
The balls are still juiced, by the way, just so we're clear.
Okay,
The balls are definitely still juiced.
Tony just confirmed, Wolverine.
Balls
are still juiced.
Are.
Yeah.
I mean, if anybody knows, it's Tony.
Yeah.
That's right.
Go check out his home runs given up over his career in Syracuse.
Yeah, you'll see him. Yeah.
So we got on the Braves this year, 23, 4 players with 100-plus RBI, 5 players with 30-plus home runs, 3 players with 40-plus home runs. They got the most division titles now by 23, and they had the most hits this season.
Okay, they hit 16 in a row, all right? Let's
Let's
stop hanging the hat on 14. I'm sorry. Let's stop hanging the hat on the division titles. Because you had 1 World Series win out of that 14 division titles.
How many does Detroit have?
Hey, look, how many World Series? Just as many as they have? Well, not in that time frame, yes.
Yeah. We're about to have another one. We're about to have a third one in Atlanta this year. But there was a couple of guys that did stand out. I mean, obviously, we're going to go over the obvious, but let's look at some honorable mentions. Spencer Strider he's a 21 season, great guy. He's got great control.
Yeah.
I think that he goes out there and he just deals. A guy that should rely on his fastball. He should. Mm-hmm. The way that he throws, I mean, sometimes it may be flat, but that's okay. All fastballs most of the time are flat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not everybody's got a little twang on it to where it can two-seam it. He broke John Smoltz' single-season strikeout record. He had, I think, Smoltz, 276?
Something like that,
and he got 281 now.
Yeah.
I mean, dang, that's, 19 away from 300?
Yeah.
Good gosh.
It was like he's punching out 10 to 12 a game.
I'm telling you, man.
Unreal.
And even on days, him being a 20-game winner, even the days that he was off, he was only off by maybe walked maybe 1 or 2 guys and then left one up and then made it 3-0 or something like that. That happens. You know that, Tony.
Yeah.
You know, it could go.
For sure.
You could have, like we were talking about it earlier, you could have a no-hitter through 7 and then, you give up 1 home run just because some guy just threw his hands out there, 100%.
Yeah.
And then the new guy that the Braves got at first base, Matty Olson, I mean, I told everybody he's going to hit 50.
Yeah.
I didn't know he was going to hit 54, though.
Yeah. I mean, and to come in and replace Freddie Freeman after, MVP candidate almost every year, fan favorite for the Braves, grew up in the city, like the whole thing.
I can't imagine the pressure, man.
The pressure. And he just exceeded all of that.
Yeah, I mean,
and more.
Killing Andrew Jones' single-season record, which I love Andrew Jones, man. That dude needs to be a Hall of Fame. Best center fielder ever to play the game. That's right. I said ever, ever. And then we got him passing also Eddie Matthews. Eddie Matthews was at 136. Matt Olson just passed him at 139 for RBI in the season. So, I mean, and we're about to talk about this guy. If Acuna wasn't having the crazy season that he's having, Matt Olson would probably be an MVP guy.
Yeah.
He would be.
For
you know what I mean?
For sure.
But
Acuna is by far the best player in baseball.
Goodness. It don't matter if it's 40-40, 40-50, 40-60, 40-70. How about 40 and 73? 41 and 73. So Acuna will be the MVP. I've got him marked down as the MVP. 337, 41 bombs, 106 RBI, 73 stolen bases, and his OPS is over a 1.
Crazy.
I mean, how does this guy do this? He's going out there like playing wiffle ball.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, with all the rule changes, a lot of people might say something about that, how the bases are bigger, there's only pickoff attempts.
If they were, wouldn't everybody else be doing it too?
Sure. Yep.
Exactly. Because then they would see the advantages that they got.
Yeah,
like Corbin
100%.
Carroll. This guy stole, like 50 bases?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's insane. The guy,
Yeah.
There's a guy.
There's a couple guys with over 50.
Yeah,
this
there's
year.
a guy, I think he's on the Athletics. I think he stole almost 70.
Yeah.
Like
It's-
65 or something like that. Something
it is
ridiculous.
close. But Acuna just did more than everybody.
Man, not to mention he hit freaking 41 bombs. And then he's
Yeah.
that 337. That's what I like to see right there.
In the leadoff spot? Like,
Yes.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I mean, he's like Ricky Henderson.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Honestly.
Like crazy. So, I mean, you got the team that's just doing this and that. I mean, any series that if you did watch, I mean, we've got the pleasure of watching it here,
Yeah.
Since it's our local team. But if you watched every game or at least watched a good bit of the season, you would swear that there's no other team that's more exciting than this.
Yeah.
To watch it just – and they do all the things right. It's not like they're just going out there. They're not going to try hit home runs. It just happens,
Yeah.
And
I feel like they don't feel any pressure, right? Like if I'm coming up after Acuna, it's like, oh, bet he's gonna hit a home run. Matt Olson's behind me; he's gonna hit home run. So like, I have no pressure to do anything. So then it just makes the game so much easier, and it just feed off each other. Man.
As a pitcher,
Oh, I hate it. Yeah,
how do you? I mean, going up against that lineup. I mean, obviously, you do have talent.
yeah.
You have the ability to get them out, but how?
Oh,
How?
I mean, you just gotta. I don't want to say you gotta get lucky, but those are the games you kind of look forward to, right? Because
Yes.
it's the best team in the league. They got all the best hitters.
Yes.
Like that's the ones you look forward to. That competition is what you need.
You know
So,
what?
like,
That's a good point, man.
Yeah.
It actually may help you as a ball player.
Yeah, it brings your
That's a
game
good
up a little
point.
bit more. You know,
That's a very good point.
play up to your level.
And I guess it comes to it, you kind of have to stop and think, well, if I'm facing the best, this is where I want to be, right?
100%, 100%.
Because then it shows me how well I can do against any kind of competition. But going up against the best, then, if Acuna hits a home run off you, well, that's expected. He's the most valuable player.
So, and so that's the other part about it is like, okay, you lose, that's probably what was supposed to happen, So if you like win, it's like, oh,
Exactly.
this dude's real, yeah.
That's right. But yeah, I mean, a historical season. I mean, I still think that they're a favorite. Wolverine. What do you think? Champions?
No.
What are you gonna say? Baltimore?
No, I'm just playing. No, I mean, I think you got to go, man. I mean, you got to go with them. Just the season that they've had. And, obviously, I think anytime you've got a divisional foe, it's going to be a tough sled or a tough hill to sled. But, just the season that they've had and the output that they've had offensively. And I think it's key to see what their rotation is going to be going into that Philly series. But I do think, they've got to be the favorites.
they have
Absolutely.
to. But the thing about postseason, it comes down to pitching every year.
Exactly. It's what's your rotation going to be? Because I think definitely you've got the ace with Strider.
Yeah. Fried is pretty good too.
Fried is he going to be healthy enough? And then because everybody's been banged up all season. So you go down the list and you're like, who's going to be healthy enough to get us through this? Because, you're looking at, it's a three-man rotation essentially. Yep. So who's going to be your best three? Obviously, you've got Fried and you've got Strider, but, who's going to kind of pick up the slack? But given the offense and given the way they've played this season, it's tough just to look at any other team in these playoffs and go, they've got a better chance than Atlanta does.
Because at any point, they could just explode for 5-6 runs in an inning. Any point.
Look at the Miami and Phillies game yesterday. Goodness gracious. Bryson Stott, can you not hit a bigger home run
It was insane.
at that time?
Insane.
Goodness gracious. And the thing was I think that they set the tone with Zach Wheeler going out there because Zach Wheeler the thing was with him, he was very tight and he was very clean.
Yeah.
It was just dealing, you know? And, as the Marlins organization, I've being in the same division, you've seen them. We've seen days where how terrible they were. You know what I mean? But I think what Wolverine was talking about when he was talking about Kim Gwynn, the new GM, she's actually doing stuff. I mean, Skip Schumacher's a great manager, great baseball guy. Yeah. You have a lot of talent. I think Jazz Chisholm is a very good player, has a lot of swag. He's kind of like that face of that team.
Yeah, a lot of hype too.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, you got good talent. I'll tell you what, that guy Berger that came from the White Sox.
Yeah, Zach Berger.
That dude mashes.
He's always mashed. Even at Wake Forest, he just hits balls hard.
Dude.
All the time. Yeah.
That guy's like, he eats a meat steak for dinner. You know what I'm saying?
It's a big boy, too.
Mashed potatoes, you know what I mean? With like a Michelob Ultra, the old can where you splash it open. But, you see up and down. I mean, as far as the Braves are going to play, obviously they've seen the Phillies. They want revenge, but I think this year the team is so different. And of course, I said that last year,
Yeah.
But then I just
They're playing with so much confidence right now. It's just oozing off their jerseys, bro.
You cannot deny that.
They show up and it's like they know we're hitting 4 or 5 home runs. We know we're winning this game. So let's just hurry up and get this over.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Let's hurry up and get this W.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And I think that kind of mindset is like a good kind of infection that just permeates around the clubhouse.
Yep.
And then, of course, you got guys like Marcell Ozuna where that dude's smiling all the time. You can't – and that guy – I think that it would be different if that guy joked around like that and he was only hitting like 15 bombs, hitting like 230.
Yeah.
This guy's a 4,000 guy.
Yeah.
Like, goodness gracious. That guy almost fell hard. And then organization, I mean, that's what you got to commend about the organization, not giving up on him, saying, hey, just give more bats. No big deal.
And just knowing who you got.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying?
exactly.
And having faith in what you made the right decision. Like this guy, he'll come around.
People forget how dominant he was in Miami.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
With him and Yelich and Stanton and Real Muto and Gonzalez. Goodness gracious. Goodness. Such a talented team that they broke up. But I mean, the Braves did their thing. I mean, they set themselves up for success because, I mean, they got home field advantage throughout the whole postseason in the World Series.
Yeah. And postseason's about getting hot at the right time, and they've been hot.
That is
They're
right.
hot right now,
and I think that the way that the Phillies were yesterday against Miami, because like you and I talked about, Tony, we saw the stadium, Tropicana, completely empty.
Yeah.
We saw Minnesota was packed. So all the teams that lost either were seriously dead in the dugout, in their home field, wherever. It was just, I don't know what it is, but as a player, you can sense that. Be like,
what's
there's
going
a
on?
reason why that they're winning right now. Y'all are so dead. Like, wake up. This is like what are y'all, are we at a mortuary? We're at a funeral home where everybody's dead here, you know?
Yeah, I think
pick it up.
Yeah, I think it's like that's the big part about the postseason. Like the fans, they bring such a big part of the game, right? Like when you get up to bat and you hear everybody cheering, it's like, oh, I want to do something amazing right now. And then when you go to like where the Rays were, it's like, bro, like
now
it's just another game.
If you have like, let me ask you, Tone, like if you've got like how it was at Tropicana.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you have a less amount of fans to where. Well, I guess let me ask you this question first. Do you like it to where you can hear yourself think, or do you like it to where you can't hear anything?
I'll be honest. When I'm on the mound, it doesn't matter how many people are there. I can't hear them.
You're like Billy Chapel.
Yeah, if I'm locked into what I'm doing, I don't hear them until like I get the third out of the inning and I'm walking off. Then you hear them. Yes. But for the most part, you're so laser focused on like the catcher and the signs and what you got to do. You don't even hear them.
Exactly.
But I will say, like when there's more fans, I throw harder. My
stuff's
nastier. You know what I'm saying? Like, my stuff's nastier.
Yeah.
So it's easier to get up for those games when you got more people.
And I would think that if you had less fans and you're used to having a lot of fans, Wolverine, if there's less, it's almost like, is this a sim game?
Yeah.
Is this an exhibition? Like, what are we doing?
Before I can see Tony setting up the throw, and then you suck, Tony!
Right, exactly. And this guy's sitting in the nosebleed section all the way up there, and you can hear him enunciate his words.
You feel that, you feel that on the mound when you
Tony DABRELL, the ball!
It's like, what did I do to you?
Right, exactly, right.
Yeah,
so you have, I think it completely affects you as a player, but also, I mean, I don't feel this way, but maybe you do if you're playing for a certain town. If you don't have many fans, you're thinking, well, dang, they must not think that we can win.
Yeah.
They're not showing up.
100%.
So, well, dang. And the Rays won, 99 games?
Yeah.
They're not a bad team.
Great team.
I don't know. I mean, Glass now hasn't been as effective as he should have been.
He's coming off Tommy John.
Yeah, McClanahan, great pitcher. He's coming off. And then you had
he's getting Tommy John.
Yeah, he is.
He just got it,
And then Zach Eflin's a good pitcher, but it just wasn't there.
Yeah.
And then I think once Glasnow got hit by that comebacker, which that looked like that hurt.
Yeah, it definitely did not feel good.
I think after that he wasn't channeling his inner Max Fried.
Yeah.
And didn't want to go back out there. He just decided, I'm going to do that. And then of course Cash comes out there, gets him out, and then I don't know. I feel like that the Rays were not in it. They made a lot of fundamental errors, and what's the guy's name in center? Yandy Diaz, is that him?
Yeah.
Coming up on that play.
Oh no, that was Siri.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Siri. Jose Siri.
Yeah.
Coming up on that.
Yeah.
So as I saw that, I'm thinking, in his mind, he must be thinking, I'm going to dive.
Yeah.
And then, oh wait, I remember, I'm playing on AstroTurf.
Yeah.
It's going to hurt.
Yeah.
And then what if I get hurt and then I'm not able to play if we advance?
Yeah.
I swear that's what I was thinking because it came up on him. He was running up on it like he was about to
I thought he was
slide.
going to get it.
And then thankfully that ball went straight up, like straight up
He
in the
just
air.
laid it, got super lucky, and I was like, okay, now you got away with one. Like, take it easy.
Until he tried to throw it, and then he threw
yeah.
it. He threw it to the Chick-fil-A that's
Yeah,
in
I
the
mean,
that was in over the visitors' dugout.
Yeah, man. You can't. Once you make an error, you can't try to make a play. That's when you compound errors, and that'll kill you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Especially if you're on the mound and you're trying to do everything that you can. You're bleeding for runs.
Yeah.
You're bleeding for runs.
Yeah.
And the thing is you can't have that. You either wait and I'll take the hop.
Yeah.
He's gonna stay on second. He's in scoring position, but he's not scoring. Or let's just go all out. What the hell?
Yeah.
I'll just dive and then the ball go right behind me.
Yeah.
And then before you know it, the runner comes in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was very unprofessional on my end. I'm sure Siri has practiced that many times. He's a professional, but I was thinking whenever I saw that, he's not going to dive because that AstroTurf ain't going to feel good.
Yeah.
And it's not soil, so it's not like he's going to get a grass stain. Oh, no big deal.
Oh.
And
Yeah,
so,
but I mean, you ain't thinking about that. When you're in the game, you're not thinking about, I might get hurt. I'm just.
well, what the heck is he thinking about?
I mean,
then?
he's a human. He just made an error.
I guess so. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
it's
right.
tough.
And then
Those balls are hard too. When they're short and right at you,
Yes.
those are very tough.
yes,
You don't know.
and those little rubber balls that they have on AstroTurf
Oh, yeah,
probably
they
doesn't help
jump.
the ball bounce. You know what I mean?
They speed up when they hit the ground.
Absolutely,
So
right.
It's a
And
lot.
so I mean, there was a lot to unpack about that series. I mean, the Rangers just came in and just did what they did. John
the
McDermott.
the Rangers, they're built for the playoffs.
Yes,
though.
they
Their
are.
team is stacked.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
And Corey Seager is still in his season form, and he did great. I mean, he's one of those guys that doesn't talk a lot.
Yeah.
Him and Simeon, and
Yeah.
they just do it. But you also got Bruce Bochy as your manager.
Yeah.
You have a great guy that's a great baseball guy that just says, "Hey guys, just go out there and play. There's a reason why you're starting. There's a reason why you're on this team."
Yep.
You know, and then there's also a rookie that's been playing as well. That I can't think of his name. Is it Josh Jung? Maybe. Yeah. He had 2 doubles.
Yeah.
You know, and a triple, I think,
Yeah.
or 2 runs
Yeah,
either way.
yeah.
But I mean, it seemed like that the energy was from game to game to game to like even the Twins and the Blue Jays game. I mean, you got Jose Barrios that's out there dealing.
Yeah.
And then okay. So what are you thinking whenever you're on the mound and then you're dealing, and then your manager, not your pitching coach, your manager comes out there? Are you thinking, is he coming out here to give me a pep talk?
I'm at that point. If I postseason, I'm locked into the game. I'm dealing. I'm not even
putting the ball in my back pocket.
I'm not even
come and take this ball from me.
I'm not coming out of the game no matter what you say. Like I can't imagine why he took him out, but no.
It's almost it looked like the Rays in the World Series whenever Cash came out there and pulled Blake Snell.
Yeah.
And then is it there's too much analytics in the game and not enough human element?
So I think it's it's got to be a mixture of both, right? So like I feel like the old school managers who have adapted to the stat error, I think those are the best coaches, right? Because they'll take the stats and that gives you a little bit of knowledge about what kind of player you have. But then you also use the eye test. Like, what am I looking at? What am I seeing? I've been around baseball my whole life. I know what I'm looking at. Our starting pitcher is shoving right now in postseason where we have to win the game. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to take him out, right? Until he gets in trouble. But the stats will say like third time through the lineup, these guys get hits or stuff like that. But I'm just like, everybody can have a great game, especially like your ace.
Absolutely.
So I feel like you got there with your ace, so why not, ride it out?
It almost seems like that it's better to have a foundation of the old school way of the game, and then because you have that foundation, you add pieces later.
Yeah, it's just like a supplement. The stats are a supplement. It's not the whole thing.
You don't found it on the analytics of, hey, if this guy's in a 2-2 count and he gets a 92-mile-an-hour fastball, he's projected to hit at 450 feet.
Yeah.
Or how about a guy that if there's runners in scoring position, he's had the most hits. I don't care if it's a home run, whatever. Yep. Put that guy in there. But I also know that this guy in these situations doesn't crumble. Mentally, he's strong. But then the stats say, oh, he's terrible.
Yeah.
It
blows my mind. And you think about like all the wild stories in the postseason where the manager like pinch hits someone, and then they just hit a home run. It's like that is from like watching the game and understanding how to play the game. It's not off a stat sheet. It's not about numbers. It's about right now in the moment, like how is this guy going to perform? And you just got to use your eyes. I feel like it's not that hard.
Absolutely. You know what I also didn't notice as well, Wolverine, is that Whit Merrifield actually wasn't in the starting lineup in the second game. What?
Why?
I have no idea. I mean, he's the hottest hitter on the team.
Well, you got to figure that out, man.
I mean, no, I'm not John Schneider. Somebody's coming for his job now because you pull out Jose Barrios and then you don't even start some of your best players because I think he's about to hit the market in like 1 or 2 years. And he's a great player. He's like one of those small ball guys that's going to chop like a drag or like a chopping bunt, and he's going to get on base and then he's going to steal second.
Yep.
Just like
score a big run. Yeah.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
Just like Dave. What's his last name? He's the manager of the Dodgers.
Dave Roberts?
Yes, whenever he stole second in the postseason.
In Boston, yep.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. Just things like that can completely change the dynamic of the game. Yeah. I mean, a lot of bad decisions. I mean, I don't know what the heck they were going on. Not to mention, Vlad Jr. gets picked off by Sonny Gray, and that was the end of the inning. And that was really the only rally that they had.
Yeah.
There was a play at the plate where I have no idea. Where Bo Bichette was going. But he's breaking to the plate whenever there is a freaking piss missile hit to the third baseman.
Yeah.
What's he doing?
I wish I knew.
Fundamental,
yeah,
right?
I mean, it's pretty. You would think it's pretty easy, but
Right.
when you're in the game and things just kind of pick up on you real fast if you're not laser focused. You know.
Maybe Bo was trying to make something happen.
Yeah,
Maybe hoping that there was
yeah.
a scrambled throw, and maybe the catcher didn't make a clean play, and he would have been in there.
Yeah.
Obviously, if it works, he's genius. If it doesn't,
Looks
you're
terrible.
not looking too
Yep,
good. Exactly,
yep, for sure.
right.
And I feel like Vladimir Guerrero. I think Carlos Correa's probably watched a lot of film on him this whole year and noticed that like when he's on second base, he gets these huge leads. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that was a calculated thing that him and Sonny Gray put together before the game.
I agree.
And then
I agree.
he got exposed.
And Sonny being a veteran, I mean, he's no spring chicken.
Yeah,
you know?
big time vet.
He is a guy that's looking for that. But I like Carlos's his mindset as a shortstop. He's looking for something like that for those exact moments to whenever. And to be honest, I mean, I'm sorry, Vladdy, but it couldn't have picked a perfect player to happen to.
Yeah.
A guy that's not that quick. I'm not saying he's slow.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying he's back. He's definitely not like a Kenny Lofton or something like that going back to the bag. So I mean, he was toast.
They knew because he's trying to score on a hit, so he has to get way off because he's not a burner.
Right.
So they took all of that into account. And
Exactly.
Got
And you would think, I think I saw the third base coach as well from the opposite side of a field view, yelling back. But the thing is, the crowd is
too late,
so loud that you can't hear it. But also, I mean, you can't be sitting there picking your nose or anything too. You know what I mean? Like you got to be ready. As a player, not just as a pitcher, but as a player, aren't you looking for that as well?
when I'm on second, if I'm on second base, I'm more worried about scoring and like if they hit a line drive. So me getting picked off and with the new pickoff rules, I'm not really as locked into that. You know,
that's fair. Okay.
So yeah, so I mean,
maybe Vlad really that's what makes the play even more perfect.
Yeah, because Vlad's he's thinking about. Tag to everything.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And I saw that Correa kind of got down on his knees. I think as a shortstop, I can relate to that because it helps you see the ball on the more of a line because you're lower to the base.
Yeah.
So you know your body's going to be right here instead of going high and then going low.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So, but I mean that throw could have been more perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the throw needs more credit. I mean, because the tag is there, great tag, but the throw is right on the money.
Yeah, to spin your feet quick and to make a solid throw is pretty tough, especially in a big position like that.
Sonny was already turning, already breaking to second by the time that Vladdy wasn't even moving.
Yeah, that's something they practice many times, spring training all throughout the season. For
poor
sure.
guy, Vladdy. Sorry about that.
He'll be all right.
Yeah, he'll be fine.
Yeah,
you got that. You got some money, but Blue Jays, there has to be some reevaluating there because they can't lose like that, and they can't just not hit. They're too good of a ball club to not do that. You know, and then Brewers, goodness. I mean, I had a feeling whenever Woodruff was out, and they had Burns. I was thinking, well, you got Burns, that's not too bad. And then other pitcher's name I'm just drawing a blank, but no hits. I mean, well, they had hits and scored runs, but the thing is, the Diamondbacks bullpen was absolutely ridiculous the first game, where they had like guys throwing like I want to say like 5 innings, and they were just lights out. And then Paul Segwall, the guy that they got from Seattle, dude, that guy was
from the Mets.
Yeah, exactly. That's right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So obviously, the Seattle trading him away seemed at the time felt like, whoa, what are they doing?
Yeah.
But at the time, for the Diamondbacks, they gave up a couple good guys for him. Yeah. That's exactly why they needed him.
Yep, and it pays off. Yeah,
it does. It does. And then also, I was watching Devin Williams. Devin Williams is a pretty good pitcher. I think sometimes he's a little bit irresponsible in how he controls his body because that dude punched a wall and broke his hand. Yeah, it took his team out of the playoffs. Yeah. But I mean, even he was struggling. It just seems like that the Brewers good crowd, great crowd.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm not saying this to devalue their talent, but some teams are just not made for the postseason
not
yet.
built for it.
They're just not.
Yeah.
They're built for 162.
Yep.
Like, what was that? I think I can't think of his name. I think it's DePoto from Seattle. He had a interview because Seattle didn't make the playoffs, and he said, we're looking for that 54%. We're not going to win all this 54%. And I'm thinking, you know what? Are all these teams looking to just get to this point, and then that's all they're hoping for?
That's what it feels like, nowadays. But like compared to like the Rangers, where their team, it looks like when they put their team together, even when they signed DeGrom, like if DeGrom was on the mound, like they put a team together to go deep into the playoffs.
Yes, they did.
Compared to like the Blue Jays, it just seemed like
you
had a good season.
That's right. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And we were just fighting just to get the wild card. And that's what we wanted, and we got it, and we lost. Yeah. What?
Yeah.
But I mean, I think that the Rangers have a lot. Their organization has a lot of commemorate. God, I can't even talk. The organization has done very well because they have Chris Young, who's a former pitcher, as their GM, who knows how important pitching is.
Yeah.
And then you go out and you get Evaldi, you get Montgomery.
Evaldi, oh my God.
I know.
Yeah,
nasty.
He's built for the postseason.
Yes,
he is built for the postseason. After I saw what he did in Boston when he came out of the bullpen, he's a postseason pitcher.
Yeah. If anybody ever plays the show, get that guy for your relief. If you get like 3 bombs hit off you in the first inning. But and then come to the Phillies and the Marlins, to where that series was so one-sided, especially the second game. I mean, Bryson Stott hitting a grand slam.
Yeah.
Couple base running mistakes from Kyle Schwarber, but that's all right, Kyle. I mean, you ain't supposed to run like a
He's
hard
only
90,
supposed to hit homers.
That's it. That's it, man. That's all
no
right.
singles, only strikeouts and homers.
Zach Wheeler and Aaron Nola pretty much stole the show.
Yeah.
Alvarez, I think, as their lefty little relief pitcher. That dude throws smoke.
Yeah, 100.
Yeah,
100 mile an hour sinkers.
Oh, my
Insane.
gosh.
From the top.
That's not even fair. I just need like a 38-inch bat. I can just bunt it.
Yeah, bro. It feels like they're cheating, bro. I mean, he started the year off. What was he like? He faced 26 batters, 26 strikeouts to start the season. Like stuff like that is crazy. He is.
He's unreal.
Yeah. That's a big league closer.
Right, but is the bullpen? Are they fit for the playoffs? I don't think they are.
I don't think so. I mean, if they can get to the ninth inning, if they can get to the back end, they got a chance. But it's gonna be tough.
And the thing is with the Braves. I mean, goodness. I mean, you have a team, and there's been plenty of teams that have just dominated in the playoff and the regular season, and then just release air in the postseason because they're so exhausted. I think that was last year for Atlanta's case.
For sure.
They're just so tired trying to chase the Mets
that
they got to that 101.
Got burnt out. Yeah.
And that's what it is. It happens. This year I think that Brian Snitker has been a lot smarter, making sure that these teams are ready. Have a couple simulation games where they can just stay in the moment mentally.
Yeah.
But I mean the postseason itself it's going to be fun. There's going to be probably a lot of surprises. I'm really looking forward to Baltimore. I really like that club. They're really good. But, I mean, how can you not like the Braves?
Yeah.
I mean, Acuna is finally healthy, 100% healthy, playing in a postseason. Yeah. Like, what is this guy?
Yeah, I feel like this is almost like a revenge season for him, right? Like,
it is.
He didn't get to win that. He was on the team, but he didn't, take the team there. So I feel like this is like revenge for him. Like, hey, this is my team.
I mean, but I think
I'm taking them.
The Braves need to have this whole revenge mentality compared to how the postseason ended last year.
Yeah.
I mean, what was it? A 3-1 series loss to Philly.
Yep.
So
That's tough.
This is really this is the get back, I think, moment for the Braves.
This may be the best series in the postseason.
Now, obviously, they're going to have another task at hand once they get past this divisional series. But I think right now for the Braves, I mean, given how last season ended, they really need to really put their foot on the neck of the Phillies.
Yeah, they do. They don't need to let up.
Assert their dominance and say, "Look, we here." Like
100%.
Yes.
This is last year. Okay. We didn't have Acuna. I mean, there were some, little hiccups, but, this is our year.
Yeah, fully loaded. Like,
Yeah. I do wish we had the night crew bullpen this year, but that's okay. I mean, we still got solid pieces. Now, the only thing that I'm worried about is Bryce Elder, only because I trust this guy's ability 100%. But the thing is I mean, I just don't want you to walk like 7 guys. I don't want anybody to walk anybody, and then somebody a guy that has literally had a home run in like 800 at bats, and he hits a home run that at bat. You know what I mean? Like that. That's what I don't want to happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think Elder is a really big question mark just because of his inconsistency this season. Like he's had those big ups, but then he's had those really low
Seriously
lows,
low
man.
downs.
And it's just like, all right, well, he's really starting to come around, and then it just tumbles downhill. Yeah. So I think that's one of the guys. Yeah, you said Witt definitely needs to keep an eye on to see how he's going to progress through this postseason.
Oh, absolutely. I'm looking at A.J. Smith-Shawver. That guy right there. He's a 20-year-old phenom throwing about 98. Have you seen that guy?
No, not yet.
A.J. Smith-Shawver.
But yeah, but is this at the same time, is this moment maybe or possibly could be too big for him, seeing as how, he kind of came in mid-season due with the injuries and everything, and then now it's, are they going to elevate him to a prominent role, or is he going to just kind of play it back a little bit? I'm interested to see how the management's going to handle that.
Don't stifle me. I'm just getting excited.
I'm just saying. I just
excited.
don't know what
excited.
role Smith-Shawver is going to play. Because, like I said, there are guys who in spots have come in and performed really well for this Atlanta team.
Like Kyle Wright coming in through
Kyle
the
Wright,
bullpen.
like Shawver, like just, there's these guys who have come in when the Freeds go down and when, obviously with the Wrights being out and everything like that, there's guys who have come in and in spells played well. But like we say all the time, the postseason is a completely different animal. So are these guys up for the task? I mean, do they have that determination, those guts to come in here and really fight through and really make an impact for the team, especially being the young guys? So I think that might be kind of to the detriment of the Braves because it's like I said, it's all about the pitching at this point. We know their offense is going to come in and swing. It's really about the pitching, and can that pitching have a consistent outing night in and night out to support the runs, let the runs come and then the pitching comes in. Let the runs come in and then the pitching comes out and really kind of keeps the other offense at bay.
You have to. That's the only thing you can do, because if it gets out of hand quick, it's tough to come back on that Philly offense.
Yeah,
Especially, you have a pitching staff that is, when they're healthy, like we saw with Zach Wheeler, Aaron Nola, and then I think Ranger Suarez, I think he's actually out. I'm not sure if he's actually playing, but he was a good addition as well. But then, goodness, you got JT. Probably him and Sean Murphy, arguably the best two catchers in baseball. Yeah. You got Bryce Harper at first now. Yep. You got Bryson Stott. You got Trey Turner. Like, the goodness.
Brandon Marsh.
Yes, Brandon Marsh, Alec Baum. All these guys that just, they're so comparable to the Braves.
Castellanos?
Yes,
yeah,
I forgot about Nick Castellanos. Thank
too.
you. Yes, he does. So it's very comparable to, because the Phillies are very, in their lineup is almost 100% complete.
Stacked,
like they have a very little holes. Yeah. But the thing is, the Braves, goodness, whenever Michael Harris is hitting the Garcia and it goes right back up at the top. Yeah. Goodness. Goodness. The sky is the freaking limit for these guys. And so that's why I'm excited. The first round of the DS starts on Saturday already, because everybody. Yeah. We got a bucket of brooms here, Wolverine. Everybody got swept.
Everybody did. Not much drama, through these wild card rounds. So, on one hand, it's like, all right, we get to the divisional series, so we're good. We ain't got to worry about it too much. But yeah, I think you like to see it play out a little bit differently than everybody just gets swept in 2 games.
Yeah, it was so low. You coming from a professional standpoint, Tony, whenever you're watching those games, obviously you're studying the game just as if you were there yourself, I'm sure. But, it can't just be just a lack of offense, because they put up the numbers to win.
Yeah, no, I feel like it was one of those things where it's a 3-game series. And so once they lost that first game and the next game is like do or die, once they went down a little bit, it's kind of like, it's over with.
That's why winning that first game is so important.
Huge. Yeah, I think it was.
I don't know. It's weird. Everybody got swept. Like, everybody got swept or swept. It was just a very slow, kind of boring. Not much excitement. Only because maybe the teams themselves that were playing each other weren't as competitive as what they thought. Like what we talked about on the big stage. Maybe they just not that they can't hang. They can, but just. That's not the right time for them.
Well, yeah, but didn't they add more teams this year to the wild card?
Yes, they did.
Yeah, so I feel like maybe that also has a thing to do with it.
And the seeding is terrible.
Yeah.
The Braves playing the Phillies, that shouldn't work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In the same division, we should be playing like the Diamondbacks or something like that. You know what I mean? Especially us being the seed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I didn't like how it played out with, essentially 2 division foes fighting off in the wild card to take on another division foe in the divisional round. I think it's a little weird because like these guys have already played each other so much throughout the regular season, and it's like so now the playoffs are determined by more divisional games,
right?
It's like interdivisional games, obviously, but I'm just like, I don't like. But obviously these teams have the records, and they win these wild card spots. So it's on the other teams in the other divisions to step their game up.
Yeah, and I think that all the games are going to be played in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
So and the Atlanta crowd can get pretty crazy. So I see that as an advantage because that Philly crowd, I'm scared of that crowd.
Yeah,
like,
they're crazy too.
Yes, back in 2008. Whenever it was, or 2009, I think, whenever it was Howard, Cliff Lee, Roy Halladay. You got a lot of guys, Scott Rowan, I think, at the time. Wait, no, not Scott Rowan, but a lot of other guys that Chase Utley, a lot of other guys I'm not thinking of, but just the atmosphere. Because I remember at that time, especially with being a Braves fan, we're playing the Phillies during that time, and it was always the Phillies. Most of them were on top. A couple of those years, Phillies were on top, and they won the division after that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But different time. I'm so glad we have Ronald Acuna Jr. On the Braves.
Decent player.
Yeah, absolutely right. That's a plus guy right there. It's going to be an exciting. Division. The Orioles and the Rangers. The Twins. And also, you got the D-backs. They're going to win, and it's the D-backs playing the Dodgers. I will say this: I would be very surprised if the Diamondbacks even got a win from the Dodgers series.
Yeah, but it's postseason baseball. Anything could happen.
I agree with that. That's very true, Tone. That's right, man.
And we already saw the Twins. They just snapped 18-game losing streak in the playoffs?
18 years. Yeah, hasn't won a single.
Yeah. So anything could happen.
Yeah, I think the last time that they even went to the postseason was in that movie Little Big League, I think. You know what I mean? But the postseason is upon us. The season came and went, and I can tell you that. And I actually looked today, gentlemen. We had a podcast in spring training. Mm-hmm. I said Acuna's going to be the MVP, and I said that Matt Olson was going to hit 50 home runs. Look at that. The precision commission would be rolling over right now.
Probably.
Yeah.
We got no evidence. I need evidence.
Right. But, season's coming to a close. The postseason's first round's already over, the most boring round. So everybody stay tuned on Saturday. Got a boatload of baseball, here on 60 Feet 6 Inches. Thanks for stopping by. Tony, thanks for coming by, man.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. I had a great time.
Absolutely. Everybody look up Tony. He's got some good numbers. He's going to be coming up to the show soon, baby.
You suck, Tony!
There it is.
But everybody, Tony DABRELL, he's going to be recovering, taking a little bit off, but we're going to have him back on the show. So, Tony, thanks for coming on. Wolverine.
Always, man. Love it, man. Love being here with you, man.
Everybody, thank you so much for listening. Keep your grass green and your pants dirty.